Alright, what's up everybody? This is Fidel from Skeptical Mechanics, and today we are going to work on a transmission, very classic GM transmission. A lot of you guys probably know it as Th350 on forums, articles and stuff like that, or Turbo 350. For purposes of going with the flow on this episode, we're just going to call it Turbo 350. It has nothing to do with a turbo, it's just the name of it, Turbo 350. Anything from 1969 all the way up to like the early 90s, late 80s, something like that. So there's a ton of them. There are 3-speed automatic transmissions, no overdrive on these. But like I said, they put it on everything, like Impalas, Camaros, vans, like all kinds of stuff have this transmission. Very durable transmission. It's been used for racing, passenger cars, cruisers and stuff like that. They're getting more harder to find nowadays for some reason. You'll mostly find a core. On this particular case, we scored this one for $100. It was sitting on a guy's shelf with a bunch of other hot rod parts. We bought the transmission, we popped it open once, and everything seems to be very clean in there. So I think it was a score, but we'll find out once it's on the car. Now, just to be on the safe side, today we got a filter kit from Wix. Part number is right there in case anybody's looking for that. Save you a little bit of time. Part number, you can find it at your parts store. And also, we also got a shift kit from B&M. This is the basic shift kit. There's the part number right there too. So what this shift kit includes is two different sections. There's one for towing and one for street purposes, like hot rod purposes. So this kit probably comes with a lot of goodies here. Let me pop this thing open. Now I have installed one of these before on my Cutlass. It's running the same transmission, and that transmission's worn out though. That's what we're doing this one here. But we're gonna put a shift kit on it, and what the shift kit does, it just changes the way the transmission shifts. So it's a more aggressive shift. When you're driving, you sometimes get the peel on the second gear. Anyways, there's a kind of cut it up in here, but there's a stage 1 RV and heavy duty. This is for towing, and then the street strip for performance. Comes with a gasket. I'm not a fan of the cork one. I usually use the rubber one, so that's why I got the kit 2, and it also comes with a filter. Comes with very easy instructions here, 1968 to 1981. I guess this one is for let's see, got a warranty and stuff, and this is basically the kit right here. So it's gonna come with a couple of plates. It's mostly plates, honestly. It comes with a drill bit because we do have to do some drilling, but they provide one. I think it's a 5/16 if I'm right. Comes with a seal, O-ring seal, another plate. This is for the filter, because you will have to take this little apart. So and it comes with gaskets and the plate. So the drilling is at this plate right here. Some of these holes have to be drilled, and I believe this is where the fluid flows through, and so on. More in depth as we take it apart, but for right now, this is just kind of like inside to the kit itself. So just give us a couple of minutes, we'll set up, and then we'll give you guys a good angle on how to do this. Now there is a very good video from B&M out there on how to install this thing. In my opinion, it's a little bit limited. It's a 15-minute video. He goes through it perfectly, but it's different when you get different perspectives. So we're gonna do it our way, and you guys get to look at it the way we do it. So feel free to check that video out too. It's not from us, but it's from B&M, and then this is what we show you. All right, so now that we kind of went through everything we have, now we flip the transmission. You probably want, if the transmission's out of the vehicle, you want a table and a lot of space where you can put stuff around. That's very convenient. Some of us are on a messed up situation, and we got to do it under the car. And that's going to be the worst because it's just going to drip fluid everywhere, and you're going to be under the car, and it's going to be, if you're going to do it under the car, props, and you know, good luck, buddy. It is possible. Many people have done it, but it's very hard, messy, and annoying. Yeah. But if you all happen to be like us, where we have it out of the car and might as well throw the shift kit in there. Now we're gonna start with removing the pan. Again, we got this transmission for $100. I mean, the pan is almost half of $100. We'll remove most of the bolts out. We used a half. And you probably want a cup or a box where you can put all your bolts. All right, pan comes out. And voila, here's our filter, as you can see. Let's see, let me grab a screwdriver real quick. Toolbox. Right here. Start by removing the filter. It's just a flathead. There's 2 screws holding it. Very simple. Now these are not over tightened at all. They shouldn't be. It's just holding the filter. And our transmission was already drained, so heads up. If yours isn't drained, make sure you drain it, because there's going to be a lot of fluid in there. As you can see, the filter is not corroded. It doesn't have trash on it or anything like that. Almost as if this transmission was sort of like serviced and then put on a shelf. That's what we think happened. There's a little gasket right here. Now, I'm not a professional at rebuilding transmissions or anything like that, so a lot of the terms I may use are not the correct ones. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Is this a half? A little tight there, like it should be. Okay, the first one we're going to remove is this like fork like little lever here for the shifter. You can see right there, it holds the shifter lever. Okay. Keep that guy there. Put it right here. The next one would be this little lever right here that's holding this cable here. People call it TV cable. It's for automatics. It's supposed to regulate the shifting or something like that. But I never run it. I always take it off. It's debatable. A lot of people say run it. It helps your transmission. I always just unhook it. I feel like I always run a manual valve body, so I always unhook it. Seems to be fine. Some people say it deteriorates your transmission over time. It's probably true. I'm just not about it. It's a pain on the butt hooking that thing up, and some guys, props to the people who know how to do it, but it's always a more of a pain on the butt to me than what it is. Now on this side, I'm not running one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and remove it. Should probably use a ratchet for this, but there's a little bolt here and it's not tight or anything like that. And what I'm gonna do, there is a little part number. I'm probably gonna link it on the description, but there is a little sort of it's kind of like this thing right here, and it's a metal one, and it just keeps it like it basically covers that little hole right there, so no fluid comes out.
So it's like a plug, basically.
Yeah, it's a plug, basically, exactly. So and also one thing keep in mind when buying a TV cable. The new ones are all plastic like this, aftermarket, and they tend to heat up too much and cheap. Make sure you buy a quality one if you are gonna run one, because I've run into that before where you put one of these and this thing is totally thin and it just cracks as soon as you tighten it. And let that fall down there. Probably throw it in the storage and let it collect a lot of dust. The gasket out. All right, this seems to be some sort of like soft gasket material. I like to run the rubber one, so I'm not gonna worry about that. You shouldn't reuse that one, they're so cheap. Okay, so this guy is out. Next thing we need to do is start removing the bolts holding the valve body of the transmission. This thing, I believe, is cast iron. It's really freaking heavy. Last time I took one of those off, it was surprising how heavy it was. Start removing. I think it's 18 of these, so just be patient, work through it, and don't get annoyed. Okay, so that's 18 of those bolts. It's a lot. So now that we're removing the last bolt, this is where you got to be a little bit careful. So the manual valve body is this guy right here. you want to make sure that stays in there. Don't let it come out. Got the last bolt. And as we're pulling this up, you want to unhook this S little kind of pin out of this side so the valve body stays in, or vice versa. We're going to go ahead and pull that. And we're just going to kind of work it out. There you go. So you see this little guy stayed in there, the little S pin. Put it right here, and as you can tell, it's on the heavy side. Okay, so next thing is going to be this guy right here, this plate. So there is a plate sandwiched together in here. As you can see, I can kind of lift it up a little bit. There's a bunch of check balls in there. So one of the tricks a lot of people use is one of the pan bolts. Put it right through this guy, and that plate kind of stays sandwiched together while you remove the rest. Okay, that way this thing is not just going to pop off. All right, we continue. Sometimes if your car's on the transmission's on your car, this little bracket right here will keep you from removing one of these bolts. So just want to make sure you're on park all the way. Okay, take these guys off. These guys right here. So sometimes, a lot of times, you'll pick up a transmission like this and you want to put a shift kit on it. Turns out somebody had already put a shift kit on it. Had that happen to me once. I was missing a lot of little check balls in there, and I was like, it looks like somebody messed with this thing already. I think originally there should be about 4 check balls. The shift kit is asking you to remove, I think you only use 1 of them. I can't remember. We'll double check the instructions right now, but you'll see what I'm talking about right now. Okay. Almost out here. Yeah, this is what I like about the B&M one. It's something you can do in your garage or something like that. Very simple, and it doesn't take a lot of taking the transmission apart. It's not a lot. There's other shift kits, more of a higher end shift kits. Though for those, you gotta really take stuff apart, and it's more complicated, which is obviously good, right? Because you're getting a more quality shift kit. But this will do right now for the street. It's not like we're taking this thing to a drag strip or anything. It's a $100 transmission. Okay. Let's see. Then there you go. It's out, and in theory, this guy should come out. Voila. Okay, so let me just verify how many check balls are in there, make sure we don't lose one, and we'll get back to you guys. All right, so we just double checked. There is 4 little check balls, so just make sure that you have 4 of them. Do not lose don't lose all of them. Since you're doing a shift kit, you can afford losing 1 or 2, but don't lose all of them. All right, this guy goes back in the little box, and since I'm not under the vehicle, this is not falling apart right now. Take off the gasket right there. I think this is called a separator plate. Goes right out. As you can see, it is a little bit dirty. So we clean that out, and there's a second one right here, and we'll show you guys all the little check balls. Okay, it looks like this is a very unmolested transmission. All the little check balls are in there. Here, these are the ones we're talking about. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4 right here. So be careful if you are doing this on a table, because these little guys could just fall to the sides. Sometimes those little entrances are a little bit bigger, but I think we're fine for right now. Just make sure you don't drop it anywhere else, because getting that thing out is going to be a pain on the butt. Let me go ahead and look for a magnet real quick. So got a magnet right now. There you go. This one right there. So like I said, these are the ones you do not want to lose. Go ahead and put them on the pan. Okay. Where's the other guy? Oh, right here. Voila. Okay, so this is where we go as far as like taking apart the transmission. We're not going to take anything else apart, but this is a good chance to kind of clean off all that residue left in there from gasket and so on. Some people just like to put it back together. Some people like to clean it off. I'm the kind of people who's just gonna leave it there. I'm just bullshitting you guys right now. All right, next thing you're gonna do is make sure you clean out your separator plate right here. And we're also, actually I think we're not using this one.
No, we got a new one.
Yeah, we got a new one that we're gonna drill through. But this guy right here, like I said, I don't remember what it's called, but now one thing they did specify in the instructions is you gotta make sure if there is some gasket on this thing stuck, you gotta clean it out very, very well. And as you can see on this one, the edges right here where all the bolts go are a little sharp. They're a little lift up there. So if I run my finger through it, it feels sharp. What we want to go ahead and do is smoothen those out. Now, you don't want to freaking carve a fucking, you don't want to carve through it or anything like that. You just kind of want to smoothen it out, make it nice and smooth. So we'll go ahead and look for, I'm going to use sandpaper. People use I think it's a file and different stuff. I've used sandpaper before, very thin sandpaper, low grit, and then that seems to be doing the job for us. But you want to make sure that these surfaces are very, very smooth, like this one. It's mainly this one, the big one. So yeah, just give us a second here. We're gonna get some sandpaper and we'll continue. Go ahead and use some sandpaper. Gonna smoothen that down. Well, these don't matter a lot because they just hold the bolts, but this guy right here is the one that we want to get smoothen out. And that's a lot better now. It's very, very smooth. Just gonna go ahead and perfect it. And one thing I do recommend is for you to get a lot of either parts cleaner or something like that for this job, because you know, the cleaner stuff is, the easier time you'll have doing this job. Because transmission fluid is a pain on the butt to deal with. It's dripping everywhere. It's thin. It's a lot. So make sure you got some sort of parts cleaner. So there you go. There's a lot smoother right now. Running my finger through it, it feels smooth. So you want to make sure you got a little bit of sandpaper or something to kind of file that down a little bit. Okay, next it's for our separator plate. Now I can show you over here. The instructions are very clear and you should go through them if you've never done this before. Street strip right here, it'll mark you the holes that you need to drill through, and then on the heavy duty one, it'll tell you where to modify it, grind it, and so on. So you just got to make sure you take care of that. Now we marked ours before grinding. See, mark 1, 2, just like they marked it right here. And like I said, they give you a drill bit to work with. It's somewhere in here. And it's actually not a lot that you got to drill through. See, it's not a lot, so just go ahead and drill those. This one's just a little bit. And again, I used the sandpaper and smoothed this out too when I finished last time, because it is a little sharp. So we'll go ahead and use our tools and grind some holes through this stuff. No, that's not good. Okay. That went through to this one. Okay, so just like with the other plate, we gotta make sure there's no high spots or anything like that on this one. So make sure you use some little bit of sandpaper or something like that, because for us on the back there is kind of a sharp feel to it right here. It's a little bit lifted, so make sure you get something and sand that down a little bit. Down, use a little bit of parts cleaner. Make sure you're wearing gloves, like I'm not. And probably use a better rag. I don't even know if we have another rag. I guess we don't. So next step, it's we got 2 gaskets that come with the kit right here, for that separator plate. And like mentioned in the instruction, there's one with a Z mark on it. That one is gonna go last. The other one goes in first. Something like this one right here. Sit in there first. And if you look at your instructions, if you're using the strip street version of the kit, you're gonna use only 1 check ball. So look at your instructions for where the check ball goes. Like we did here, we marked it on our plate right here. Actually, yeah, it's gonna go on the other side. Go right here. And what a lot of people do, if the transmission is still on the car, what they do is just put it like this on there. Now, some people put some grease in here to kind of hold the little check ball in there so it doesn't come out. You can do that. We're just gonna double check right now which of these guys takes the check ball. So give us 1 second here. Damn it. This hole right here. Voila. Little check ball sits there. You can see it through the camera. Okay, make sure everything is aligned. Because remember, all the bolts got to go through this, so make sure there is no gasket in between. And we're gonna get one of our pan bolts to hold the plate again. One more time. Just again, double check everything is aligned to my liking, and put this guy right here. Okay, so far we are about halfway through our shift kit. Is the one with the Z mark on it. Oh. Old habits. Get ahead of yourself. Everything's aligned. Okay, looks like we're good. All right, so next it's your plates right here. So again, we smoothing this out. So first is going to be sandwiched together with the sort of like silver one goes on the bottom, the golden one's in the middle, and then the original one goes on top. So park this all the way down. And again, we have a bolt here holding the separator plate together. Make sure these guys are aligned, and we're going to start these guys here. Oh, you're right. Thank you for cameraman Sergio here, keeping me on check every day, even in my personal life. So this thing goes in there. We're gonna hand tighten them first, get them all started, and that's a good habit to have. I learned that the hard way. You got to get everything started before we start torquing stuff down, because you install half of it and then the other doesn't align. You got to redo everything. So get these hardened. Now I think these got to be torqued down to 100 inch-pounds. I can't remember. Look it up. It should be in the instructions. We're gonna use our hands as our torque tools.
Move that way so you can. Oh no! Huh?
That's it. It's already moved. This one's just hard. This guy going there.
Cameraman is gonna give you a hand.
Thank you, cameraman. Okay. Now you got to be very careful with these guys. I was working on a transmission once, doing the same job, and I over tightened the valve body ones, and I stripped some of the bolts. And the casing of this thing is aluminum. The valve body is iron, so there's nothing wrong with that. But this, it's just so hard to fix that in a clean way. You can hack it, but fixing it's hard. So just be patient. Do a kind of like X pattern or star pattern tightening. You start with one corner and then work your way at the other one, because you do not want to strip aluminum on this transmission. There's going to be a pain on the butt to fix it.
No, I'm just saying not too much, because as you guys can tell, it's really hard now.
Yeah, it's pretty hard now.
All right.
Yeah.
This should be good.
As far as we're gonna.
All right, so we torque ourselves the bolts.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, next is gonna be the valve body goes back in. Remember, our valve body is there, so we gotta make sure it hooks into the little shifter lever there. So, there we go. We're all set here. Now sliding this thing up, down. Careful, the edges are a little sharp on this thing, so watch your fingers up. Oh, there it goes down.
There goes the S-pin. So yeah, guys, we're new at this.
Yeah, what you don't want is the S-pin to fall down there. That's exactly what you don't want. So just take your time. Just gotta align it right. Was it this side?
No, like that. The other way. The other way. The other way. No, the other way.
Sure?
Yeah.
Alright, so I think this guy moved around. So let's double check how it looks on this side. Ouch. Okay. Looks like we are good right now. Bam. Okay. So we get some of these bolts started. Kind of hold everything down. Let's get all of them started. I like to get started with the corners to kind of keep everything sort of aligned. And then the middle ones will start flowing very easily. All right, so another thing, now that we put our plate, the freaking valve body's on. You got to be very careful because these guys also, the 18 bolts you removed, are very delicate. Again, they're going into aluminum, so you got to make sure you're torquing them down correctly. There is a measurement for it. Look it up. We didn't look it up. I'm sure the instructions has it on there, so be very careful. We're gonna do hand tightening again, so we're just gonna take our time. Again, do star pattern. It's very hard doing the star pattern here because there's so many of them. You just gotta kind of keep up with it. But again, you gotta be very careful not over tying these because it will strip. I had it happen once to me. Okay, so here, one of the things you need to make sure is before you put it all together at the end, before you tie in the last one, as you can see right there, this lever right here has to clear this head bolt right here, because what we did is we added more plates, right? So this thing sits a lot taller now. So you got to make sure this is shifting smoothly and is not grinding. This is fine, but what you don't want to see is this one over here, like hitting the end of that, because it's not good right here. So see, it clears. That's good. So be careful with that. If it is hitting, I think what you gotta do is kind of cut off some of the top of that head bolt, and it'll be better. But you gotta be careful there. Tying the last one right here, holding this little fork shifter. Now what you really want to do is tighten it at the same time you're tightening everything else, and then remove it and then tighten it again. We're not gonna do that. It's just skeptical mechanics. If you're watching this, you just learn. Skeptical mechanics. Okay, let's give it some resistance. Okay, that's pretty good right there. Let's see. It works and it clears everything. Voila. Okay, so next we're probably just gonna put the filter on. Like I said, I got a brand new filter from Wix. Voila. We could probably reuse the one we had because it seems to be in good condition, but just to have a better kind of like thought in our head when we go to sleep, we're just gonna use the new one because we already have a new one. my gasket. Okay, sits right there. And the filter, gotta make sure you align it where the bolts go. Just these two holes. Voila. Here, let me move this guy around a little bit. Okay. Little bolts there.
On that side. This one doesn't have to be really tight, just make sure that it holds the
filter.
Okay.
Using the wrong screwdriver for this, but hey, that is what it is. Okay, that should be about it. Okay, that's on there. There's no play. And again, if you are using your it's called the god damn it, I just read it. Give me a second, let me give you guys a proper definition for it. Kickdown cable, there you go, that's what it is. We actually made a video about that thing in the first video we had on our channel, where I was going on a rant about cheap parts. Anyways, I'm not running a kickdown cable on mine. I'm gonna block off the plate right here with a little plate and just call it a day. I'm not gonna have a setup like that. Now what this transmission is gonna do, it is go behind a 454 Chevy big block. Ideally you want a turbo 400 behind a big block, but people have run turbo 350s on big blocks with no problem. Some people beef them up. We're just throwing a shift kit on it and praying it holds. Now we are gonna do a Muncie swap on my big block, so this is just a temporary transmission, and it was so cheap that we figured you can't go wrong with $100 transmission that looks in decent shape. Sure, remove any corrosion out of yours. So this is very convenient because we're planning on using this transmission a lot. So it's very cheap, and it comes with a little sort of drain plug there, so we can change the fluid regularly. So yeah, you just put on your cam bolt on there.
Gasket, the other way.
Yeah, the other way, exactly.
The other way and the gasket.
Yeah, you put it with the gasket, tying this the correct way, and then you're all set up. And that's it. That's how you install your shift kit in there. If you have any questions, I'm pretty sure we showed all the part numbers we could in there, so just make sure you look at those. And that's it, guys. Good luck. Let us know how it goes, and tell us where you're putting your shift kit on. And have a good day.